Hey tubes, got a Mosca bander here. It reads, this Mosca strapper will not cycle the strap. It gets stuck before making a full cycle. Okay. We'll see if we can give her a fix. Well, while that's doing its thing here, she's fed up in there. There's the strapping right there, and the clamping jaw. See it coming out right there? This fan ain't running either. This fan's seems like it's broken. You know, when I lifted this lid, I noticed that this lid seemed propped up. It's because I don't think this little key thing, little safety switch, is down all the way. Maybe it is. I'm gonna look around and see if I can detect anything. Then I'll come back on, let you know. Basically, strapping winds up in off this spool right here into a big giant magazine down in here. So it winds off that spool into this magazine, and it comes up to this big wheel right here. And here, there's a wheel. Okay? And there's an tensioner wheel right here that rides inside that wheel. What that does is it pushes tension between that wheel and the strapping. So you got this arm right here for leverage, you know, and it has a spring that goes down to a little eye bolt here to adjust the tension you're putting on this thing. Whether that spring is just totally stretched out or else it's the wrong spring. So I put a few rubber bands on there to give it a bit of tension. And that was basically the problem. Blew out all the crud. I don't know if you can see it all on the floor here. Just all kinds of dirt. The little strap loops are from me testing it, but all the little straight pieces and them little pieces like that was down inside this bander. So it's completely cleaned. I sprayed everything out with WD-40. As you can see right here on this plate, there's like a motor oil. So whoever had been maintaining this had been putting motor oil all over this stuff, and anybody should know that motor oil and dust kind of makes glue. So, and also that fan don't run. So I lubricated this pin here, pin down there, pin right there, the weld head, slide piece, and the clamping jaws are all lubricated properly. So now I'm just basically going to cycle this over and over again. I also fixed the dial so it reads right for your tension. This should really squeeze that. Definitely puts a lot more tension on it. So this is the minimum squeeze. When you put that on, barely puts any tension on it. So it's working pretty good. It'll work a lot better with a spring on there instead of some rubber bands. But even the rubber bands are putting better tension than that spring. But you get the point. It's fixed. So I found a broken lap spring. I had a broken hook from the inserting machine. So I kind of shortened the spring a little bit and bent a new hook on the end of the spring so I can get some kind of tension. So I'm going to I guess adjust this eyelet here for the spring tension, see what works best. Not too light, not too heavy type thing. So we're gonna see how it goes. The original spring that's supposed to be in there goes, I believe, is on order, but I have a free few minutes, so I'm going to see if I can make this spring work. As you can see, this is the spring I took out. You see how thin the coil is, the coils are on the spring versus that. So that spring definitely will put more tension on this arm. And I have enough adjustment in that rod to take it to near zero to full tension of that spring coil. So I'm just gonna mess around with it a little bit off camera and find something that I think works best. And I've never got to mess with something like that, so I'm going to kind of see how it works. You know, explore a little bit. Okay. So I'm gonna turn the tension all the way down. Wrinkled the bundle a little bit. Just give me a second to turn this tension up. Same band, same spot. A lot tighter. So we usually run ours on minimum like this. I'm just gonna put it on one here. You see this plate right here, this front plate. You see how it's not sitting down. That's because there's a weld right here where somebody welded the frame and this plate's laying on the weld. So I'm gonna bring in my grinder tomorrow and shave a little bit of this plate off so it can go out past the weld and allow the table to lay flat the way it should. It'll help improve the performance, maybe. At least it won't be annoying and bouncing everywhere, right? I don't know if the microphone picks this up, but you can hear the strap winding through with force, you know what I mean? Before, it was with that other spring on there when we got it here, it was very weak, and sometimes it didn't make it all the way through. I also adjusted the clearance right here. This clearance wasn't right. All the way down through there, the clearance wasn't right. And actually, when the strapping would come through, it would be pinched between these two areas right here. So yes, I scooted this plate backwards because of the banding was being pinched in between here, like it wasn't properly set up from the factory, or else it had got moved at some point in its life. Okay, so that's been strapping at basically one. I'm gonna do some multiple straps at full power and make sure that we're not getting any crazy thing happen with the spring tension we have on there.
I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but listen to when that releases, when this plate releases, you can hear it snap really hard because it's got all the tension on it. I'm gonna turn it down to 1 right now and listen to the difference. Yeah, lay down, just here and bang. Oh no, it's not good.
Going to check the strength of the weld after that many in a row. Yeah, it's still melted on there pretty good. I did clean the weld iron, so I think we're good. There's Alex Trebek. Okay, so I have strapped this several times on low tension and on high tension. The only time that it messed up is because I missed the bundle. So I'm happy with it. So I completely disassembled this area right here. This bar coming across here. Due to the lubrication that's used, or had been used, it was mixing with this plastic dust and the paper dust. And it sort of caused like a glue inside the track right here. That wasn't good. And then also, that big wheel on down into this plate right here there's a passageway that the strapping comes out of the magazine. It had shards of this strapping, like where it sheared off, and like almost like a hangnail. You know how it tears? There was some torn pieces of that strapping down in there, clogging up that passageway. And then the weak spring. There's some good tension on this bar right now. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the jam nut down. And I suppose it could be used. I don't see why not. But I'm also a believer that maybe it should have the right tension spring on it as well. But I'm not the boss, so maybe it'd be best to replace that fan. But this thing sounds good. It sounds just as good as our bander runs. Anyone on the YouTube channel has never seen the inside of a Mosca bander before. Oh, here you go. I've cut the strapping from the spool down there. I have it sitting here. So this is cut off here. I'm going to simulate this running out of strapping, and then I'm going to rethread it to make sure that because that spring, just to make sure that the spring tension I have on there now allows it to feed as well when it's empty. Okay. That was it trying to fill the magazine down here, and there's no strap between that drive up there. Okay, she's empty now, and it knows it's empty. That's why it kicked all that out. Sorry for making you dizzy. I know I am. I complain about the same thing on YouTube. So, feed it down here. There's a little lever right here. You push it, you get it to start down between the wheels. This lever here, you push it down. It pulls the tension wheel off the drive wheel so you can start it down in there. And just like that spring I replaced is a tension wheel on the upper drive. So I want to make sure that it's not too tight and it allows it to be brought up into there. Okay, now you turn this. So this strapping is going to come through this tube right here. Okay, so you're going to wind this up. It makes a pathway for it to go up into that upper drive. You should see it shoot through there. And what the heck's going on here? Must be too many straps on here. Okay, well, that works. I would say it's fully functional. So I even tested that out. Shouldn't be really any problems with it anymore. Unless people put motor oil everywhere. Okay, well, subscribe. Peace.